So far, this year has been bringing many surprises. Ignoring the real world and focusing on just gaming, though, we can at least say it's been mostly good news on this front. The Switch 2 got revealed. Pokemon Day is approaching, and with it will likely be a Legend ZA trailer. Metroid Prime 4 comes out this year as well, and the first Switch 2 game has already been revealed to be Mario Kart 9. Today's news, though, will focus on a second game coming to Switch 2. Let me tell you, it's an unexpected one to say the least, so get excited. As well as info on the next Super Smash Bros. Game, also coming to Switch 2 in the general future. Now, whether or not Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4 will be dual released on Switch 2 is still up in the air. Pokemon ZA did clearly state, though, with unconventional wording, that it will be released for Nintendo Switch systems, plural, plus a few recent leaks leading us to firmly believe a dual release is imminent. So, if you want more details on all that, I did cover it all recently, and I can link you to that video at the end of this one. But one thing we do know is that Mario Kart 9, like I said, is the first officially revealed Switch 2 title. The footage in the Switch 2 reveal trailer showcased a 24-person track, new designs for Peach, Donkey Kong, and others, as well as an updated art style. Now yeah, that is the first Switch 2 game that we know for sure is coming, but a second one is currently being leaked by the same person who leaked the Switch 2 reveal trailer. That leaker is a guy named Nate the Hate. He's become a legend of sorts in recent days because he hasn't missed with his recent leaks. Even the Switch 2 reveal, which came at a really weird time and nobody believed him that it would be true, myself included, it turned out to be accurately leaked by him. He quite literally proved us all wrong, and it wasn't the first time. His track record is clean, and we can now look to him for reliable info. As I mentioned, he's discussing another Switch 2 game yet to be announced officially by Nintendo, but that will be launching alongside it when the time comes. Or at least, not too long after the launch. The coolest part about this game in question is it isn't a first-party title, it's third-party. And on top of that, it's from an M-rated series. Now, if you're like me, you're getting excited for something Bayonetta here. Sorry to rain on the parade, but it is still good news what this game is because the game we'll be seeing released for Switch 2 early on in its life cycle is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This game is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's currently slated for release on other modern consoles on February 27th, 2025. Now, Metal Gear Solid 3 is considered by many to be the best Metal Gear game ever, depending on who you ask. It's usually contended by Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4, with 4 winning most lists, and 2 and 3 trailing not too far behind even those. And some lists even feature Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance as people's favorites, depending on if they like action games more or not, but that's a whole nother story. Now, this remake of 3 will feature a huge jump in visuals and even other visual flair like object permanence. Leaves and dirt that end up on Snake's outfit will stay there, for example. And that will leave a subtle yet impactful impression on the player. New features and gameplay options will also elevate the title to even greater heights and pull it forward into the modern day in more ways than just its visual presentation could. It's an exciting new release, and with the Switch 2 being around as powerful as a PS4 Pro, if not closer to the PS5 thanks to DLSS, we can expect all of these features to be in the Switch 2 version with minimal concessions. This sets a great precedent for what we can expect on the Switch 2, especially when it comes to third-party releases. Prior leaks from other leakers have also revealed that games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake will be getting Switch 2 releases. So, everything really does look extremely promising from a third-party perspective. Of course, this also gives a lot of promise to first-party titles as well, since if the Switch 2 can handle these complex graphics and capabilities, first and second party titles like Zelda, Pokemon, and more can truly shine on this console. It's also a nice thought to think that Bayonetta can possibly reclaim its spot of feeling like a technical powerhouse now that it's Nintendo exclusive, much like Bayonetta 1 and 2 did, with Bayonetta 1 feeling like a true next-gen experience at the time it released, and Bayonetta 2 being quite possibly the best graphics on a Nintendo system to date with an exposed art style. Bayonetta 3 couldn't quite cut it because of its ambitious gameplay, so I'd also like to see a full remake of that game because it's definitely a title that's screaming for a hardware upgrade, and one that I think deserves it more than pretty much any other. Some of you might be hoping the Switch 2 could also fix the performance issues in games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but I want to be very clear. There's a difference between games suffering from hardware limitations and ones suffering from inferior optimization by the developers. Scarlet and Violet, unfortunately, falls under the latter issue, meaning no hardware will fix the performance for it unless Game Freak themselves finds the time to go in and fix the code, which, sorry to say, is likely not going to happen. Like 5% chance they actually do this. So keep that in mind for those of you hoping the Switch 2's backwards compatibility features would magically save this particular game from itself. It probably won't. On a brighter note, we also have further info on the new Smash Bros. Game coming to Switch 2. We've already talked on this channel before about how we know a new Smash Bros. Is coming to Switch 2 because of how Ultimate is finally getting updates again after a few years, informing us that the developers are back in the office to work on Smash Bros. And Nintendo has begun a subtle push and campaign for the series again by making new commercials focusing on it for the first time since the DLC ended. But now, we also have news on Masahiro Sakurai working on a secret project, as well as a handful of leakers discussing what the new game will offer. Now, I won't 100% say that Sakurai's new project is in fact Smash Bros. It could very well be a new Kid Icarus game or something else altogether, but we can't deny the possibility. On the topic of what the new game will give us to work with, many leaks are stating that Nintendo wants to continue what made Ultimate so successful, meaning they're working to defy odds yet again and reclaim every character on the roster for a second time. Sakurai himself said this is a nigh impossible task to replicate and that it was a miracle the first time it happened, but I imagine the money spoke for itself and everyone involved in contracts has incentive to repeat that success again. The leaks also established many characters receiving updates to reflect their more recent appearances. Cloud will obtain a new few moves from the 7 Remake and Rebirth, Link will be updated to reflect his Tears of the Kingdom arsenal, Bayonetta will have her new look from Bayonetta 3 added, Kazuya his Tekken 8 look, and Ganondorf his Tears of the Kingdom appearance. Donkey Kong and Mario will look more like their movie counterparts, similarly to what Mario Kart 9 did to them on that front. And a story mode will once again return with a similar structure to World of Light, but supposedly with more cutscenes, clocking in at about an hour of footage as opposed to Ultimate's 15 minutes. New characters like Waluigi and Gino are supposedly being added, but I'm gonna add here that I'll believe this all when I see it. Most of these leaks come from a source that Hungrybox is apparently in touch with, so it's hard to say how real any of this is, but it all sounds fairly dandy to me. Okay, johtojonny opinion time. Now, I have very particular reasons why I play Smash Bros, and one of those reasons, yes, is the story mode, and the other reason is Bayonetta. So these will be a few of my own little niche wants from the game, and you guys may or may not agree with me. Now, when it comes to the story mode, I do hope we get a proper story mode this time. I liked World of Light, but yes, we definitely need more cutscenes. And I want it to be like a movie like it was in the Subspace Emissary. And yes, I would prefer the gameplay to be more akin to Subspace Emissary because it's just way more fun. But I would be happy with the gameplay of World of Light if we just at least get more cutscenes and an actual story to it, more than just the subtle storytelling that the map gave us in World of Light. And I hope we have some of that too, but yes, more cutscenes for sure. And now, I also hope that my girl Bayo gets a moment or two to shine because she was not in the game back when Subspace Emissary was a thing, and she was hardly in World of Light. So I personally want to see her interact with the characters. I think she'd be such a fun character to interact with them, not just because she's my favorite, just because in general she's a great game character and would add a lot to the story. Now, when it comes to her herself, I hope that they keep her old voice lines from the old voice actress Helena Taylor. But if they do get Jennifer Hale to redo her voice for this game, especially if she's going to have voice lines in the story mode, I hope that Hale does a better job than she did in Bayonetta 3. And I also hope that we get all 3 of Bayonetta's outfits, and that when using the first 2, she doesn't use Demon Masquerade when doing the Wicked Weaves. I hope her clothes still peel off because I think that's a cooler visual flair personally. Oh yeah, and I hope we get a new character of Cereza and Cheshire. I think that would be a really cool, fun little Nintendo exclusive character from the Bayonetta series, and they would fit perfectly in Smash Bros. As a dual-controlled character of sorts. But okay, yeah, that's all of my little niche things that I want from Smash Bros. On the Switch 2. I don't really care about the rest. I'm sure the gameplay will be fun. I'm sure all the other characters will be handled fine, yada yada. But yeah, I have my own very strong reasons for playing, and I'm sure you guys do too. I mean, it's a game filled with single player characters. So if you're like me and you play for those characters, then you might have very strong reasons too for your character, who I don't know who that is, but you do. So sorry not sorry, and I want you to be sorry not sorry too. I want you to comment what your super unique perspectives and ideas are for what you want from Smash Bros. And even the Switch 2 as a whole. You can sound as crazy as I did in that last segment if you want. So yeah, just comment your thoughts down below. Afterwards, check out more of my videos as promised, like this video here, where I discuss how we know Pokemon Legends EA might be dual released on Switch 2. Or if you'd like to support me, help me pay my rent, and have your names featured at the end of all of my videos, you can click the Patreon link right there and join for as little as $1 a month. Or you could become a channel member. Either way, I've been johtojonny, and I will catch you all there.